channel. Jesus Christ. Okay, they made a 9-minute response here. Let's talk about it. Probably like low-key clickbait a little bit there. I'm assuming there's going to be the more glaze here. Destiny glaze starts at 0 minutes. Tom left the polycule. Tom was voted out of the polycule. Tom is depressed because his daddy disappointed him. Don't worry, Tom. We don't see you as a Destiny orbiter. You're just a massive glazer. Tom, go outside. What are you even talking about anymore? Do your own thing, Tom. You aren't Destiny's child. The true disavow. Okay. See what this is about.
This, part of the reason I didn't talk about this a lot in the prior video I made, I did actually talk to Destiny about it in a call since then about that clip from Kino Casino, which I can talk about if you guys want, but...
Wait, so wait a minute. You talked to Destiny? Okay, wait a minute. Hold on.
Part of the reason I didn't talk about this a lot in the prior video I made, I did actually talk to Destiny about it in a call.
That's good.
All since then about that clip from Kino Casino, which I can talk about if you guys want, but part of the reason that I wanted to pull away as well is, you know, people make it out like I'm doing this like complete disavowal of Destiny, and it's not like I'm like disavowing him forever, or I think he's or I hate him. Based on that clip, I think a lot of people got that impression. That's really not the case. It's more so that clip in and of itself was bad. I did ask him about it, which I can give an explanation if you want, but part of the reason that I want to pull away a little bit from DGG stuff is, first of all, the Hassan war is getting really toxic, and frankly, I'm kind of bored of it, so I just don't want to be involved in that right now.
So it's getting toxic, and he doesn't want to be a part of it. The Hassan war. What is happening with Hassan?
Another thing as well, in addition to that, is when you are in Destiny's community, when you are collabing with him, you're implicitly an orbiter, right? People call you a orbiter. They say that you are an orbiter. And that in and of itself is like kind of fine, like the labels, whatever. But the actual implications of being an orbiter are like, you're in, like every time that Destiny does something, it's like, can you talk about this? Can you talk about this? In a positive and a negative connotation. Like anytime he does something good, people are like, talk about the Destiny drama. Anytime he has some leak, it's like, talk about the Destiny leak. Anytime he some BPD girl, it's like, talk about him doing this. Anytime that there's some drama with another orbiter, it's like, talk about this. And it's like, with a lot of this shit, I just straight up don't care, firstly. And secondly, when you are just like in the orbit, it's kind of hard to be your own person. Like you are just expected to be a Destiny guy. And I don't want to be a Destiny guy, if that makes sense, right? I want to be my own thing. I want to be my own thing. And like, I'm appreciative of the fact that I've gone into streams a lot and it helped me a lot. He's also rated my streams a bunch of times, and I'm very appreciative of that. But when you're quote unquote in the Destiny...
So he's leaving the polycule because he realized the optics were bad. Okay, good to know. Good to know.
It's like being in the orbit of another streamer, but his audience is very parasocial, to be clear.
No, really?
It's like an extremely...
Wait, just for the record, okay? Just for the record. Somebody that streams as much as Destiny for like 5 to 8 hours every day. I mean, yeah, his fucking entire audience is going to be parasocial. I think it's fair. All right, I think that's fair to, you know, to say. I don't think it was going to be like... I don't think it's going to be a huge surprise, right? How does that work? What's going on? Like, what is the interwebs, my guys? What is the interwebs? I don't know.
Orbit is real. You get like pulled in to this shit. And it's like, I want to do my own thing. I don't want to be like a streamer in the Destiny orbit. You know what I mean? I want to be my own thing. I don't see you as an orbiter. Well, maybe you don't, but I think to a lot of people who don't watch my content, I think they do see me as that way. Another thing about it as well is, so because you guys saw, I assume a lot of you did anyway, because I cover the leaks, and let's see here. Yeah, addressing the Destiny situation. I talked about the leaks, right? I actually talked to him about it, and I was like, yeah, I just wanted to let you know I cover the leaks because I know him. And he was like, yeah, I don't really care about that. Doesn't really bother me. He didn't seem to give a shit that I cover the leaks at all. But I also told him, I was like, yo, what about this like Kino Casino clip of you being in some trolling group? For those who don't know, the clip was him describing how he was in some trolling group on Justin TV like 10, 15 years ago.
That's a very charitable thing by Tom, I gotta say. If only he handled that charitability to everybody else. He has to go to his daddy, his E-daddy, and be like, so about that pedo shit you did, can I get some, you know, can I get some clarification on the pedo shit you did, Destiny? Yeah, I think that's a very, very admirable, very, very, a lot of goodwill, a lot of good fucking charitability for Destiny. All right, it has to be. It has to be for Destiny, Daddy Destiny.
And in the trolling group, they went into this chat, and this like 8-year-old took his out and swung around like a helicopter on the stream, and I was like, what the is that, right? I was like I was like off foot by that. So I asked him about it to get an explanation, and the explanation seemed relatively good. I don't have any proof that, you know, his explanation is not real.
What is
if anyone wants to fact check him, you can do that, but
well, what is the explanation? I'm gonna assume that we're gonna get into the explanation, right?
I'm not gonna get, like I said, I don't want to get in like the Destiny investigation rabbit hole, but
yeah, that's why you gotta do the pyrocynical
Then
instead.
shut the fuck up for a
right?
second, okay?
essentially what he said. And they would just go around to different streams and like mess around with people in chat. And randomly, this like 8-year-old kid or something like that just took his out and swung it around like a helicopter. And at that point, he left the trolling group because it was getting too crazy. Which I rewatched the clip. That is essentially what he said in the clip. So based on that, like I don't, you know, my biggest concern, which is what I asked him, I was like, were you encouraging this 8-year-old to do this? And I don't have any evidence otherwise. He said no. And that's basically was his response. So
yeah, let's take Destiny at his word. Good job, Tom. That's some very good investigative journalism right there.
Yeah, that situation with that specifically. In regards to the leaks, I mean, obviously I thought it was funny, but I don't really care that he's gay. But also in general, you know, I straight up told him, I was like, I don't want to be like the orbit guy. I don't want to be like sucked in. You know what I mean?
Tom left the polycule confirmed.
He like 1000% was like, yeah, fair enough. He was like, yeah, I get it. He didn't like, it was not like some kind of like thing. You know what I mean? Sucked in. Yeah, I guess that was a funny phrasing there. But yeah, essentially in my mind, like, cause like, for example, I got invited to that podcast by Dan, like to do a drama podcast with him and Destiny. And I was thinking about it and I was just like, you know, initially I was excited by the prospect.
Who's Dan? Which Dan is he talking about?
Because I feel like it would be good content because we probably disagree on a lot regarding the drama world. But at the same time, now that I think about it, it's like, I feel like I need to build up my streaming shit more before I like do a podcast with a bigger streamer, you know? I don't want to be like leeching off their audience and like there's like some conflict between the audiences or something. Like I don't
already had a failed podcast. It was the Half Baked podcast with Nick the Oreo and that one guy. What's his face? I forgot about him. Yeah, but it was that Half Baked shit. It was a failed podcast you guys gave up on. You already had one.
I don't want to get involved in that kind of shit. You know what I mean? I want to do my own thing. So yeah, that's my thoughts on that. Kind of final thoughts, I guess. And which is also why, like, there's such a rabbit hole of Destiny content you can cover. But the problem is, like, if you do that, if you do just cover Destiny all the time, positively or negatively, once again, you're still sucked into the orbit. Because, like, the orbit also extends to people who hate him. Like, that is part of it. That's part of the conversation. And then it's like, you have to be, like, the ~1 glazer or the #1 hater. And frankly, I don't want to be either of those things. I want to be my own content creator. Both the pro and anti-Destiny audience expects a lot, and they get mad easily. The pro-Destiny audience, I mean, to an extent, like, I did see a thread on the subreddit saying that I was being homophobic because I made fun of the leaks. And I was like, all right, that's retarded. But that wasn't, like, the whole audience. So I was like, this is the most hardcore, you know, Destiny fans, just whatever.
Dude, honestly, I'd rather be, like, on the negative side of fucking Destiny. I don't think there's any situation where I'd ever want to, like, even for the clout, like, what the fuck? Like, why? Why would you want to fucking, like, that doesn't make any fucking sense. Like, you don't want to glaze Destiny for the clout, do you? You're gonna lose all self-respect left.
But the real thing is just, like, once again, the orbit that he occupies. He is like a planet that sucks everything into it. It's pretty crazy. And I don't want to be in that shit all the time. You know what I mean? I feel like I need to build my own thing. I need to build. Do I want an orbit? I don't know if I want an orbit. I feel like I need to build my own kind of orbit, if you know what I mean. I probably wouldn't want as parasocial of an audience as he has, as like most streamers have, especially because I'm not a full-time streamer. But yeah. Chud Logic went through the same exact thing 3 years ago. Yeah, I mean, I feel like a lot of people do. You know, it's just like when you start streaming and you know, are generally inclined to stream with bigger streamers because it's a big opportunity, eventually you might want to break away to kind of have your
That's the network, buddy. That's the network.
own thing going on. Just hit the eject button, bro. You have your own area of the internet. Hassan could eject himself. Vosh did so. Just hit the eject. I mean, I'm essentially hitting the soft eject, but the thing is, like, also when you hit the eject, people are like expecting you to become like a Destiny A-log. And like, everything is up for grabs. Like every position you ever defended him on or agree with him on is now like a subject of actually f him. You guys were right the whole time. I was wrong. And I don't want to be, because like if you become the anti-Destiny, you're still thinking about Destiny. You're still a part of the Destiny orbit.
That's literally everything, though. That's everything. That's everything in like content creation. That's not exclusive to Destiny, pal.
Like you still are. A-log, it means like obsessed hater, basically. I don't want to obsessively hate one person. You don't want that. That's bad. That can torture your audience. Have you seen Armchair
Not necessarily. Not necessarily.
Historian? He looks like World of T-shirts if you never drank. Makes great videos too. Highly recommend. I have not seen Armchair Historian, actually. This guy?
Yeah, is this it?
It's okay to look, think about it, mull it over. Consider if it's a worthy criticism that you actually need to respond to, or if it's a big deal. Or, you know, maybe come to your senses later and realize like this doesn't matter. I don't need to talk about this, you know? Like I don't think you necessarily need to stay away from Reddit. It's more like stay away from the upload button for at least a couple days before you decide to make some kind of public statement disavowing whatever is going on, right? Tom, to people who don't watch you, you're 100% a Destiny orbiter. Yeah, I know. I'm 1000% aware of that. And I didn't totally realize it, to be honest, until recently. But yeah, no, you're 1000% right. King Clark's, you're 1,000,000% right. And I want to be my own thing, you know? I want to be my own guy. Your fan base is big enough. I think you're fine. I mean, if you want to talk about like the Turkey Tom audience, yeah, generally I agree. But that is a, you know, there's a much smaller audience of people, by statistically speaking, that watch Turkey Tom versus watch TomDark or TomDark Live, right? And like when I'm starting out kind of on the streamer arc, you know, I mean, I'm not just starting out, but I'm like 2 years into it, you know, on the live, from actually having a dedicated channel on it, I'm like barely 7 months into it, right? Like I don't want to get big off of the back of someone else.
That's all drama content is. What are you talking about? My God, is Tom having like an existential crisis about this shit? Drama content is literally making your name off of somebody else. Like, I don't know if these people know this. All right. But that's literally drama content as a whole. Colossal is crazy. Did the same thing. He called out Basher and Liar Maker for manipulating minors, but then makes a whole podcast with Pedo Cynical, a guy that groomed multiple autistic minors. Is that true? Is that true? I think I'm gonna need a fact check on that.
Appreciative of the fact that, you know, I have benefited from the DGG community and audience, and I've had funny interactions with them, and there's been good content. But once again, I don't want to be like a guy whose streaming career is built off of the streaming career of another streamer permanently. Like there is a point you need to break off and do your own thing. I only knew your Turkey Tom channel, then found Tom IRL, then found TomDark. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, and that makes sense. You know what? It kind of does make sense. I do notice that you sometimes have an audience that just only talks about how you're a DGG or whatever. Well, yeah, but the thing is, like, once again, Destiny's such a controversial creator that if you're associated with him in any way, or if you hate him in any way, which is still a form of association, it's like you're sucked into this world. You know what I mean? And it's just, it's like, I want to talk about something other than Destiny. You know what I mean? I would like to have a more well spread out kind of appeal. So that's how I feel about that.
I guess I don't know. I mean, like, I guess moral of the story, Tom disavowed Destiny. He just took his word for, like, I guess the pedo shit, and Tom doesn't want to be like a fucking drama fucking whore, even though like he's a drama whore.
Ships and lose those dead. You're a loser and a creep, that's 2 out of 3. Blowy ass shoes in my motherfucking feet. I'ma hit Tippy with a 2-2-3. Leave his ass dead in the motherfucking street.
I see them making fun of you on Kiwifarms. They're talking about how much of a freak you are. And I'd honestly feel bad, and I'd offer you my pity. But I'm busy out here buying me a sleek new car.
It doesn't rhyme.